Like I'm looking at mine. I can't look at yours. I'm gonna fuck up. um. Okay. Well, here we are. The Hall of Fame game is upon us. NFL season is finally starting. It's been, Will, what do you like to call it? The dog days of the summer when there's just nothing going on, right? Like no
Pretty
football,
much,
nothing.
pretty much from like the last game of the NBA Finals to probably like early September. Yeah, just dog days
Yeah,
whole
dog.
way.
And I still consider this dog days, but at least we get something. Like there's good news, bad news. Of course, your annual Cowboys torn ACL, Sam Williams goes down, but thank God we drafted a guy. But speaking about injuries, that makes it like real hard to make predictions, like MVP predictions. You can kind of do division winners. You can do unless like back in the day, unless like Tom Brady or Peyton Manning was like carrying a team. It's like okay, well, barring injury, they might be. I don't know if there's that. The Chiefs, like Mahomes gets hurt, they're not going to be top of the division, so it's risky doing NFL predictions. But I think it'd be interesting to hit off a prediction video. I think we should do. What do you say? I think we should do award winners and division winners. So I think we're going to go down the list of NFL teams like per division, who we think's going to win the division. And then after we do that, I'd like to see who you think's going to win, like your MVPs, your defensive player of the years. You always have some prediction that makes me scoff. And I always feel like it's an awful prediction. And I do the same to you as well. So we're both two in the same there.
Yeah, I really hate being right all the time too, man. I really do.
Yeah, you see my little thing down there, correct about everything. I take that serious. Alrighty. Okay, so what should we do first? What I know you said you came super prepared this time. Like by the way, guys, Will completely washed me on preparation for this one. So, and that's typically how it is. Usually he comes with the stats and I come with the crazy takes. And it may seem like that's not the case at the beginning, but no, you'll see soon that is the case here. I really only care about the Cowboys, but I'm interested this year to start caring about all the teams. Like actually look at all the teams, look at their rosters, like care about what's happening, what games they have coming up, everyone's drama, because the Cowboys, they are not giving me enough bones to chew on.
So, should we begin then?
Yeah, what do you where you want to start? AFC, NFC?
Oh, I've been thinking about this for months now. I always do a little list of who I think is going to win right after the Super Bowl, and then I kind of revise it as it goes on. And then I made the list again while we were trying to go back and forth about doing this preview show. I do admit the right to change these picks up until
Yeah.
week one, by the way.
Oh yeah.
You never know. Yeah, like I said, the injury thing. I might pick somebody, and then tomorrow that guy falls down the ACL tear. Next thing you know, that team's cooked. So we can amend. We'll probably do a touch up right before the season starts.
Yeah. I agree.
Just to make sure we got all of our geese in line, and then we can. I think the best way to start is probably just going to the AFC. Back to the division I mentioned last week is the hardest in football, the AFC North. We've got the Bengals, got the Ravens, the Steelers, and the Browns. So you got the Bengals and Ravens each at about 10.5 wins, according to FanDuel, according to their over/under, which I'd say is about right. I'd say the AFC North is kind of a juggernaut, and then we got the Steelers and Browns each at 8.5 as the over/under for their win total. What do you think is going to come out of the North this year?
Coming out of North, dude, it's got to be Baltimore. Baltimore, Joe Burrow would be the only reason why I think the Bengals would creep up and get that. I would think it was a typo seeing the Steelers with 10 wins last year. Like that's almost insane to me to see that they had 10 wins. I would not have thought that at all. I guess they do hang their hat on defense, but I'm going Baltimore, dude. You add Derrick Henry. I'm still upset about that. I think him and Lamar. You could talk about play styles all you want, as far as why they could or maybe won't mesh, but I think their personalities, I think as like teammates, I think they'll be on the same page enough. They both want to win. I think they'll do what they have to do to make that offense go. So I'll take Baltimore, and then Bengals second, Browns third, Steelers fourth.
Okay, and do you have any wins losses, or that's just your order?
That's my order. In order to do wins losses, I would have to go through their
I get you.
more in depth. I will give mine, and you probably have yours. I'll give mine when we do our touch up. That's when I'll give my win loss for all the teams.
Fair enough. I decided to go the other direction on this, the Bengals. And the reason why I picked the Bengals is because there's always the Joe Burrow injury factor, which is always
Yeah.
something you need to overlook, that you can't overlook, I should say.
Yeah.
But however, he was running ship on the NFL last year up until basically I don't know if you watched that game live, but it was sad watching him try to throw a football after he messed his wrists up in that Baltimore game. And it was a tight knit game, and that game had a lot of division implications. And if Bengals go on to win and that Burrow injury doesn't happen, I think they might run ship and still win the division last year.
Mhm.
I just trust Joe a little more upstanding, obviously, than Lamar is, just on a game to game basis of being able to deliver in bigger games and also just being able to deliver more of a downfield passing game when he needs to.
Yeah.
I feel like Lamar's issue is always like he's a good thrower of the football, but I feel like just like when he goes and runs into like a bigger matchup, especially later in the postseason, is kind of when he shrivels up a little bit.
Yeah.
So I would take the Bengals personally, and I agree with you on the Steelers. I don't know what's going on in the water over there last few years.
How'd they win 10 games?
Their motto is always like, make sure the game's like 6-3 with like 5 minutes in the fourth, and then just like one drive, and then we win the game.
Dude,
it's pretty wild.
Their net is under 20 points. So they literally were outscored on the season and went 10-7.
I can't hate on the Steelers too much. They beat us last year, but they're trying to do the old like 70s or 80s, 90s Steelers model of like, doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Let's just have a good defense, which has really just been priming them for first round exits the last few years.
So I see it like this. If the Ravens were to play as good as they could possibly play, I see it looking very similar to like I don't want to say San Fran's ground and pound days. How about the Eagles? When they were doing a lot of like the read option in their offense, like they were leading the league in rushing because like it wasn't just the running back that was running, like the whole entire offense would just pile rushing yards on you. I feel like they may win in that style. Who else did it? Was it Seattle? It was Seattle that had that effect, like with the Legion of Boom days, where like and the running back are both like combining for like 150 minimum yards.
Well, when Baltimore's run game's going, it's kind of scary, honestly, because they can get you like 150 yards without even trying. Like Lamar's got 50, then 3 of their running backs each have 40, 50 yards apiece. The next thing you know, you're looking at the board, and you're like, wow, we're getting out game like 2-1 on run yards right now.
Yeah.
I just think if Burrow's standing upright, I think the Bengals will win. I think the Steelers get third, and then I think the Browns are going to get fourth because I think this whole Deshaun Watson mess is going to catch up to them sooner or later. I think it's this year, personally. I don't think them having the same luck. I think just the karma of signing that predator onto their team is going to come around and bite them personally.
Yeah, a
lot of money on their books.
Okay. So AFC North, I got Ravens, you got Bengals. All right, so
just so if I got this, just get this down correctly here. You got Ravens, Bengals. Looks like we just flipped basically our first, second, and third, fourth, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You said Ravens, Bengals, Browns, and Steelers. Okay.
Yeah. All right, next.
Just for my own records. Let's move to the opposite side of the poll, the AFC South, which we got the Texans at about 9.5 wins, the Jags and Colts each at about 8.5 apiece, and then we got the Titans at 6.5. What say you?
Okay. Texans, I think it may go in the same order it was last year. Texans, Jags, Colts, Titans. The Texans, I'm worried they could be better in Dallas. Their passing game might be better in Dallas, unless CD goes for 2,000, which I expect. I don't see why he wouldn't try to go for 2,000. Granted, he's there. Jacksonville. This will be a big telling year for me with Trevor Lawrence. I do think they'll get second, but I don't think it's going to be very hard for them to get second. But I think Trevor Lawrence has got to show up this year. Hopefully, I think he's got the right backbone. I think he's got a strong backbone. I think getting the contract, maybe he will take that next level as a QB and like unite his team to win rather than just. I feel like he usually will come alive when the game is close. And when it's like if he needs to be clutch, he will come alive. And I think that's why he earned his money. But he needs to do better at putting together like complete games, in my opinion. Like I'll see Trevor Lawrence ever since college. You'll see them be down like 21. And yeah, he'll bring a team back. But why get down 21 in the first place? I think he could do a lot better in between then. The Colts, but hold on, though. They were 9-8 without their starting QB. So the Colts, granted Anthony Richardson stays healthy. So I take that back. Give me Colts second. If they won,
okay. Ooh, all right. A little spicy. Okay.
Yeah, if the Colts won 9 games last year without their starting QB, unless they got really lucky last year. I don't remember too many Colts games, but I would imagine they would get to 10. They were under 19. They were outscored by 19 points, and they still were 9-8. So I think they'll go over the hump a little bit, put Jacksonville third. I think the Colts are just a better team than Jacksonville, and then Titans fourth. Like the Titans, like what are they even?
No, they have the Titans at 6.5 wins. That was one of the few ones I actually had a double take. I would under every day of the week. Who do they have? Like it's literally like
exactly. It's Hopkins.
Like the 5th best quarterback of last year's draft.
Plus D.
Like no, I got them all the way down at the bottom of the menu at 3 and 14. They might be one of the top 3 picks in the draft, in my humble opinion.
Okay.
The Jags on the other end, I'm going to give them second. The more of the issue is not just the in-game consistency; it's in-season consistency. I'm not really sure if you know like the last 2 years for the Jags. 2 years ago, I think they started like 2-6, and then they rattled off like 8 in a row, made the playoffs, had that big comeback from behind fashion versus the Chargers, won that game, and actually took the Chiefs pretty deep in Arrowhead. Next year, complete opposite. Started out great. I think I want to say they started 8-3, and then the Trevor Lawrence injury happened, and then they just hit a freaking wall. I think they finished like 1-4, 1-5. So it's more of just not in-game consistency. It's just over the season. It feels like it's just very hot and cold with the Jags, and I think that's going to translate to their record and end up with them at about 9-8, 10-7 range. I gave them 10 wins. Just because I have a little more faith in Trevor than I think some other people do. But at the end of the day, it's the Texans. I think this is just their year to at least make a run at it. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to beat the Bills or even the Chiefs for that matter. But I think for sure, 10 wins is definitely on the table, if not 11 and 12 for them.
Okay, and then you got what Colts? Yeah, Colts third, Titans.
Colts, 7 and 10. I just don't trust Anthony Richardson's play style and his health personally. They have a good coach and they have a good foundation going, but I think that's just a little year too early for him, if anything. I guess maybe he'll prove me wrong, but we'll see.
And Jonathan Taylor's still there, right?
Yeah, but I don't even know where I'd put him on my running back list. Honestly, I'd have to think about it. Honestly, I didn't write that list out, unfortunately.
After we saw what happened with Zeke, I look at all running backs like trust.
You never know when it's going to happen. I just know. One of the funny thing is, I was watching this video of Todd Gurley. He was talking on this podcast, and he brought up he's 29. What? Feels like this man's been out of the league for 10 years. He hasn't even been in his 30s yet. Are you kidding me? I was like, you're 29, man? I was like, I feel like it's been years since I've even watched you on a football field.
And like, he didn't have some super bad injury that took him out, was it? It
was kind of like I think it was a lingering issue that kind of got to him. I'm not Todd Gurley. I'm not sure what fully ended up, but he definitely at one point during that Rams Super Bowl run when they had Goff, he definitely got hurt, and then he kind of was just not the same after that. Yeah, and it was just kind of like I think he even met it in the podcast I was listening. He kind of like lost the passion and love for the game a little bit, so he just decided to call it.
And what's crazy about that is like coming out of college, that's when you would have expected him to hit that wall. But like in college, he had a bad ACL injury, and that's why he almost didn't go first. But I think he still went first in that draft out of all the running backs, even with coming off a 20 ACL because he was so dominant. And then you fall off like that in the NFL. I know that hurts.
Yeah, he's still got a good 3-4 years in. That's just kind of the case for some running backs out there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I saw something, dude. He's still like top what? I don't think it was top 5. He's like top 10 in like total touchdowns since 2016, 2014, and he hasn't.
Just 2017 and 2018 campaigns were nutty. I don't have the stats with me on hand, unfortunately, but I know he was good for like 15, 20 touchdowns for both those years, which is just uncanny.
I could never comfortably say Zeke was the best. There's always somebody else that was like, So
he had a couple of years he was arguable, but anyways, move back on to the play at hand here. Now we're on to the AFC East, which we've got the good old Jets and my good old friend Aaron Rodgers, the Dolphins, the Pats, the Pete's, and then the Buffalo Bills.
Obviously, the Patriots fourth. Okay, let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, for sure. they're a mess over there. Even if God, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Guy from Oregon. No, guy from UNC. My bad. Drake May. Drake May.
I almost said
drawing a blank on him. Even if Drake May is good, that's a work in progress. Talk to me in maybe 2 years.
Yeah. Okay, so Patriots fourth. Oh my gosh, dude. Talk about a toss-up. It's crazy to say Bills third, but if Rodgers healthy, the Jets with a good QB could be a good team. Wow, man, this is hard here. This is hard. if I had to put my money on it today, right now, we said excluding injuries, Jets 1, Dolphins 2, Bills 3.
Drinking the Rodgers juice, I see.
Patriots.
Ooh, I like it.
Here's
Did you
one
watch
thing.
his-
Huh?
I like it. All right, we actually have an argument for this division for once.
Did I watch his what?
Oh yeah, I just saw his podcast over on Barstool Sports. I didn't know if you watched and it inspired you.
How recent? I saw
It was
one.
like a few weeks ago. It was like a couple days ago, I want to say.
Yeah, dude.
I just saw the clips of it this week.
The thing with Rodgers is even during the Cowboy Packer beefs we'd have, I'd always at some point I'd have to be like, that dude Aaron Rodgers, but he's insane. I still don't put Mahomes over Rodgers. I think Rodgers is a better quarterback than Mahomes. Me be careful in the word is, but just still, bro, I don't see how healthy Rodgers. I don't take Mahomes over him. If you want to go off talent, maybe right now, but prime Rodgers, arm talent, he was better than Mahomes. I feel like Mahomes he takes a lot of risks, and it's good, and I think he tries to do more things. But I think Aaron Rodgers, like, he wouldn't do things for fun. I think Mahomes is out there like having fun, but I think Rodgers, he does the stuff we see him do. He did it because he had to do it. Like, he did it like in a superhuman ability where it's like, I have to hit the next level to win this game. Whereas Mahomes, like, he could be up 21 and then we'll see him make his like super flashy pass. Well, Rodgers will do it to like because he had to, because the defender was draped on him or on the receiver and he had to do a certain thing. That's my I know even you as a Packer fan before he left to New York or New Jersey, you still you thought Mahomes, you were giving Mahomes his respect, but not to take you off the topic, but I don't know. That's why I got the Jets 1.
Yeah, Rodgers is good. He's no Jordan Love, but he's pretty good. Anyways, back to the topic at hand here. So let's see here. We got Bills at 10.5. They were all pretty low, honestly, in terms of like the win-loss totals for the AFC East. Bills are Fins and Jets each at 9.5 apiece, and then the Pats sitting at a lowly 4.5. Personally, from my perspective, I'm not selling a set of my Bill stock. Everyone was just saying all offseason, like, Bills are done. They lost Stephon. Like, what are they going to do? And they like forgot what happened last year. Basically, as soon as they were like, all right, we need to start running the football more and getting the ball more in our running backs and Josh Allen's hands, is when they started cranking out wins, and they somehow stole that division from the Dolphins last year and actually made a decent run. I mean, they were in a close back and forth with the Chiefs, but obviously the Chiefs own them. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately for the Bills fans out there that are listening.
Yeah, they're going to get Kansas City last year was the year.
Everyone for the AFC, for that matter, but they couldn't do it. And I made a lot of money in the previous postseason betting with the Chiefs against all the teams. I was like, plus money for the Chiefs in the postseason? I'm like, okay. Anyways, I got the Bills at top dog, 11-6. I'm not falling for it personally. I think they're going to take care of business. The Fins are, I'm not going to lie, they're kind of the Cowboys of the AFC. They kind of beat on the bottom dwellers, and then once they kind of meet somebody their size, they kind of fold. Sorry, Isaiah. Didn't mean to throw a stray at you. Mm-hmm. But I got them at second at 9-8, and I got the Jets shortly behind them at 8-9. And then I got the Patriots. We both agreeing on that, 4-13. Better luck next year.
I think the difference between the Dolphins and the Cowboys, and the outcome could be the same, but this is unfortunate. I feel like the Dolphins, when they would lose, like the reasons they would lose, it's like, say the weather was a factor, or say they relied on something too much. Those are reasons why they would lose. Whereas the Cowboys, it's like, you lost because you did this, or you lost because you did this, or even if you want to put it on pressure, it's like you lost because you listened to the hoopla too much during the week and you folded under the pressure. Whereas, like, I feel like the Dolphins, I don't know if they go out with that amount of mental stress that the Cowboys may bring on themselves. I feel like the Dolphins, they lose, and now both could be like, wishy-washy, night and day reasons, like toss-up reasons as if the team's going to win or not. Like the Dolphins is, okay, will Tyreek score 2 touchdowns, or will the other team allow them to get loose in the secondary? So, I mean, yeah, I heard that comparison all last year, and I wanted to disagree with it, but it just kept playing out just that way exactly. So I think for that one, what you had the Dolphins, you had the Jets second, Dolphins third?
I had the Jets third. I don't buy them. I just think it's a lot of old guys, and they're two slips of a knee away from that just being the good old Jets that they usually are. Personally,
They're one Rodgers away, that's for sure.
as much as I'd love to see Rodgers play well, maybe not win the Super Bowl, but
Yeah.
I'd love to see him play well. Maybe have one more last farewell tour, I guess you could say. But I just don't think it's going to happen. You got him, and he's just coming off an Achilles tear. He's entering his 40s, for God's sakes. Tyron Smith, what's left of Tyron Smith? He got it. I think it was just added by them, right? Did I
Yeah.
get that wrong? Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, just like, yeah, maybe this was like 2014, the Jets would be humming, but it's 2024. So
Yeah. Yeah. I have Tyron Smith. He broke my heart, but I understand. I get it. I get why you left, dude.
I just feel like Jerry probably had to like kind of bid ways. I don't think he could offer the money that he wanted just because of all the money he has to give out to Dak and CD this coming year.
Tyron needs to stay on the field. We demand a certain amount of money.
Oh, for sure. I just think that was kind of what happened. Unfortunately, I think he had to pay other guys and just couldn't pay Tyron.
Yeah, well, still hasn't paid nobody yet. Well,
so you got the Jets top dog.
Yeah, I got Jets.
Did you say Bills third?
I got Dolphins just winning more games than the Bills.
Oh God!
Has there ever been 2 wild cards in one division?
Yeah, just last year. It was it was the Browns, Steelers, and Ravens, and the Bengals honestly could have made it too. Joe Burrow didn't get hurt.
That'd have been crazy.
No, yeah, the Bengals were 4th place in that division last year. That thing was, it's for sure happened a couple times.
Okay.
It's pretty hard. I mean, like I said, usually you play each other and the divisions end up cannibalizing each other.
Yeah, they have to dominate everybody else outside the division pretty much.
Essentially, yes.
Okay, so last is AFC West, right?
Yep, got the good old Chargers with Jim Harbaugh. We got the lowly Raiders and Broncos and the Chiefs. I mean, this one's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I'll let you take it off.
Chiefs first. Why were the Chargers 5-12?
That's going to be studied for history, honestly. Their defense was abysmal, and their coach was a numbnuts. My happiest thing about the offseason was when I saw that we were interviewing their old head coach for our defensive coordinator position, and we decided to get somebody else. I was like it's like that guy, the guy who gave up 60 to the Raiders in December. I was like, no, get him out of our building. Yeah. Get him out of our building. Good God.
All right, so Chiefs.
Why did we even interview him?
So give me Chiefs 1, and the Raiders are rocking Jimmy G, huh?
No, I think they're doing I think they're doing Minshew Mania. They benched Jimmy early last year.
Okay.
I don't think he's on the team anymore.
Okay, so I'm a little outdated for that one. So give me Chiefs, Chargers, dude. Come on.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh's when I saw Jim Harbaugh draft that tackle, number 5, I was like, oh God. Just we're back to the 2012 49ers. I'm like, good God, I'm just had there in the AFC. I don't even want to deal with them.
So give me Chiefs, Chargers. Between the Raiders and Broncos, I'm like,
take your pick. I chose Raiders over Broncos personally. I think the Broncos are going to be a tire fire.
Yeah, that's a Thursday night football game written all over it.
They're getting a little better on the matchups, but yeah, that honestly a few years ago for sure. Unlike NFL Network.
Yeah, that's got Thursday night written all over it. Okay, I'm gonna put the Broncos still got Sean Payton, right? I'll just take Sean Payton. I'll trust him. I'll put Sean Payton 3rd, and the Raiders 4th. Yeah,
I thought about doing that for that same thought process, but I think the Raiders just have more players than the Broncos.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Dude, so obviously Chiefs were going to win this. I think the Chargers are going to win also for sure. Get 2nd place at least. I have them winning 10 games. I have them winning 10 games.
The Chiefs?
No, the Chargers. I have the Chiefs winning, going 12-5, and their over/under is 11.5, so that feels about on pace. The Chargers were 8.5 wins. The Raiders were 6.5, and the Broncos were 5.5.
Dude, for a second, I'm looking at the Broncos because they got the same record as the Raiders. They're both 8-9 last year. The Broncos were under 56 points, but then I thought to that game where they got smoked, and I'm like, that's why.
For sure, 100% why. I think they lost like 63-7. It was. I remember I didn't watch the game, and I thought it was an ESPN error when I read it the next morning. I was like, what the?
Oh yeah, that happened.
I was like 24 hours later, they end up canning the coach.
Okay.
So I got your division winners as Ravens, Texans, Jets, Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your 3 wild cards then?
Dolphins.
It's a little
Bengals.
hard. I know the AFC North's hard. Someone's got to miss it in that division.
Mm-hmm. Dolphins, Bengals. I might go back to the same division again. Jets. No, Bills.
Bills.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dolphins, Bills. I almost said something stupid. Dolphins, Bills, Bengals.
Okay, 1 second here. Fins, Bengals, and Bills.
Get that down.
You just gotta keep track. I don't know if you're gonna track your statement later on. You tend to do that sometimes.
Me? No.
For my end, I got Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, and Texans coming out as division winners, and I got the Ravens, Chargers, and Jags coming out as wild cards. And that's my 7 out of the AFC.
Okay. I like it.
So yeah, personally, I think I like mine personally. 3 new teams. Usually, there's about 3 to 6 new teams every year in the postseason on a rotating basis. Usually, it's never the same 14 that make it on a year-to-year basis. But yeah, I got 3 new teams in the AFC: Bengals, Jags, Chargers.
I
I
like
like
it.
my 7 personally.
I like it. I don't think we said. I think for the most part we shuffled between top halves. I think we agreed for the worst team in the division for most.
Yeah, our really only trifle was just the AFC East. I just don't see the Jets pulling it out. Maybe they do, but I have faith in Josh Allen.
I agree. He's definitely shown he's going to be there. He's going to be there. It's going to be durable.
Not about postseason, but I'm just talking regular season here.
Yeah.
I just think there's no way he's not winning at least 10 plus games.
Oh yeah, he's winning 10. He'll win 10. All right.
So now back to our favorite division, the NFC.
Yes.
Best for last. Let's start with the North. What say you? I got the Packers currently at 9.5 wins, the Bears at 8.5, the Vikings at 7.5, and the Lions at 10.5 wins.
I think the Lions will win 12 games again. I think the Bears are going to win 11 games, dude. I think the Bears and the Packers. I think the Bears and the Packers will be those top 3 teams will be close. I think the Lions have the most chemistry, so I think they will be the well-oiled machine, if you say. Give me Lions first. Oh, the Vikings. No, they're not really doing nothing. Vikings are last, so let's get that out the way. Vikings will be last. The Bears, just off the draft, I think drastically separated themselves from the Vikings. So we're looking at the top 3. Lions first. I mean, I can guess the Packers and Bears both win the same amount of games. I can give them both 10 games. 10.
Okay, then who wins the tiebreaker then? Just remember, tiebreakers based on head-to-head.
I want to say they're going to split. I don't want to be that guy to sit here and give a tie. I think they're going to split. I think they're going to win, and they'll both win at opposite houses. So the Bears will win in Green Bay. Green Bay will win in Chicago.
I mean, I have a couple ties on my list. I had Bengals and Ravens actually finishing tied for first, and then I gave the Bengals the tiebreaker.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibility these teams tie with each other.
I think the Packers and Bears will win the same amount of games. And I think it's going to be good for the NFL. It's going to be like a very fun thing to watch, seeing the Bears like actually relevant. And I think, yeah, dude, they're going to now they will either start slow and catch momentum, or they'll start fast and then someone will figure them out. But one of the two will happen. It won't be a consistent thing with them. They're going to go from either down low to up high, or they're going to go from up high down low. And I feel strongly about that one. When they're hot, they're going to be hot. When they're cold, they're going to be cold.
I agree with your first and last. Lions, I think, win. I think, like I said last week on the pod, I think they have some contracts and people to pay that they're going to have to pay in the coming years, but not this year. Their team's pretty stacked. They've all basically were together last year. I think they added a couple extra pieces. I could see somebody else maybe taking it, but if you, like I said, put a gun to my head, I'm taking the Lions. And then, obviously, I'm going to take the Packers second, just because I need to see the Bears beat us at least once before any fear of that team gets put in my head.
Yeah, I can understand why you like very humbly. It's just hard for you to see the Bears, because I'm sure you've gone into some games like we should lose, but it's Bears Packers. So let's see what happens.
I was pretty scared going into the games last year because I was just like, especially that first game, because I'd never seen Love play outside of like basically fill-in time, and I was just like, oh god, I was like, and I had Bears fans come up to me all off season, like talk to me like I'm like a widow. They're like, you know it's over, right? Like they're like
Listen,
trying to
idiot.
console me, like they're like empathetic towards my situation. I'm like, no, relax. All right, let's just relax.
Me included. I'm a Cowboys fan. I was coming at you like that. Like, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I was looking at you like, finally, Will knows what it's like to have a
God, people
structure.
just need to wait and see. They got to watch what happens on the field. Like that's just the Bears' biggest issue. Before even people step on the field, they're just writing checks they can't cash.
I want to hear a story come out that Jordan Love at some point went in the locker room. He's like, hey, relax. All right. Everybody relax.
I don't think that's really his thing. He seems pretty like to himself. Maybe the Green Bay franchise quarterback syndrome we'll get to in about a decade, and he's gonna. And who knows what that's going to bring out of him? I mean, we've seen what happened with Favre and Rodgers. It just feels like that rots your it just rots your brain being the king of Wisconsin.
Yeah, I feel like Love's it's his personality. Like the same thing. I think it was who was I talking to about it? It may have been you. Where I was talking about how he talked to Micah, and the guy's like he's like super mature about it. He's just chilling, like, yeah, I mean, I saw this, I saw that, and when we took it, we liked it. Okay.
Yeah, he was the slyest like diss ever. He just looked him straight in the eyes, like, yeah, we already knew what you were gonna do.
Yeah, and it was very similar, like, dude. It was very similar to like when you see like UFC fighters, like after a fight's over, like it could have been all his animosity before, but then afterwards, like, yeah, man, you were just a little too quick with that, and the dude who won just kind of like, yeah, like, you know, that's kind of how it was. And I figured the reason I like Jordan Love, and I said this about when it was time for him to get his money, I'm like, he's mature, like he's a mature guy, I could tell. And then you go on, and I hear it was Jason McIntosh, or was it Colin Cowherd? It was one of those two guys that on the herd, and they were saying that they went out to an actual like camp where it was Jordan Love and a bunch of other people were there. Like there was other big names there, and the name is Emmanuel Acho actually, and is when I was watching on YouTube them talk about the first day he decided to hold out. And Acho was talking about Love, and he said that out of all like the superstars he was with, he said no one stood out more as far as like maturity and the way he like handled himself other than Jordan Love. Like, and I'm like, yeah, that tracks, because it's just super calm. Yeah, I mean, you guys had a safety at nickel, so we attacked that matchup, and
No, I'd be crying when I watch that live. That's a subject for a later day. I have the Packers obviously second. I have them winning about 10 games. I have the Lions winning 11. I just think the Packers and Bears, I think their years to come will come in future years. But in terms of this year, I just think it's the Lions locking it down. And just based on history, I'm going to get the Packers a game edge over the Bears.
Yeah. Hashtag get Jettas out of Minnesota.
They'll be fine. They just need to they got to see if JJ's the guy, and if not, replace him. Just kind of how it has to be. But I could see JJ for sure leaving in the next 2 or 3 years. It just feels written on the wall.
Yeah, get him out of there. He belongs in Dallas.
No, I'm fine. I hate watching him play the Packers. He scorches us sometimes.
I can see him ending up in Baltimore or something.
He either does nothing or he drops like $180 and a touchdown on us. I don't no average game for him. I don't know what I'm getting out of Jefferson on a game-to-game basis.
All right, which division we hitting next?
No, like I said, we'll go to the opposite spectrum, and then we'll go to the still hapless, but a little better than last year, NFC South. We've got the Falcons, top dog at only 9.5 is the over/under for the top dog in that division. And then as we move down, we got the Bucs and Saints at 7.5, and then we got the Panthers at 5.5.
I wonder why they think the Saints are going to win less games.
I'm wondering why they think the Bucs are going to win less games. 7.5? Yeah. Like, are you kidding me? They won 10 last year, 10-11. They won the division. What a playoff game.
That was Baker's first game. That was Baker's first year there, wasn't it? Or was that second?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was his first.
Yeah. Why would he be worse? Right? So
7.5 feels very low. I'm not sure where they got that number from. I would take the over every day on that.
Yeah. Let's go this. I'll say Buccaneers first. Falcons second. I think they have two quarterbacks right now that are both far better than the one they had last year. So I expect Kyle Pitts to have a good year. Didn't they draft a guy? They drafted a receiver, didn't they?
I'm not entirely sure. I just remember the guy. I just remember Penix, honestly. I don't remember anybody else that they picked.
Yeah, they had a wild draft. But I'm going to take the Falcons to finish second. Buccaneers, Falcons, Saints, and obviously Panthers fourth. I mean, dude, Bryce Young was so bad that he could honestly be in contention for comeback player of the year.
It's hard for me to find a worse situation than what the Panthers are in right now. Like, imagine just like having the first overall pick. No, my bad. trading for the first overall pick, being the worst team in football the next year, and then just watching your first overall pick. You don't even get the first overall pick. So this is basically just like a dead duck year for the Panthers. They just need to be bad again and just try to recoup just any loss from the last couple of years. I feel bad for any fan base of them.
I mean, with McCaffrey, what did they get him in trade? They lost him in a trade or was it free agency? They traded McCaffrey.
I think they traded him for like a bag of chips over to the Niners.
That's where they messed up. The thing about the NFL, dude, is like that's why the cap's there. It's like every team, you shouldn't be terrible unless you made a bad choice. And it's like if you have a good player, yes, that one player may not be enough to make a team good, but it's like you should at least find some way to turn that into more. I don't know how many people that click on these videos play like Ultimate Team or anything, like play video games. It's the same concept with that or anything with value. If you have something and it's not exactly what you want, you take that, you trade it, you get a bunch of other things that can still like make you relevant. How do you got rid of McCaffrey for nothing? You already obviously Prime Cam's been gone. They've had nothing since then, since Cam, other than McCaffrey.
Since 2015, yeah, when they went to the Super Bowl. And they had like maybe like 1 year, I think they made it as like a wild card. Yeah, they've been pretty pitiful for the last decade. I think the real thing with the Christian, I think it's because I don't know if you remember, he had kind of an injury history. I don't think anyone expected him to be playing every game, churning out 100 yards and a touchdown for the Niners every week. Yeah, like not even like he's down for a week. Like, no, I don't think that's even happened once.
No,
dude's just been a workhorse since he showed up in San Francisco.
Yeah, he's a definition of a workhorse.
But I got Panthers down at the bottom feeders, 4-13. I got the Saints. I just think the Saints need to get a reality check and realize that Drew Brees is no longer in the building. They keep trying to like push this money, like they're like acting like they're still contenders. I'm like, you just blow it up. I don't expect much out of the Saints. And then the Bucks and Falcons, honestly, was probably my hardest one to think about in terms of who I thought was going to win. I was thinking Bucks the entire offseason until basically today. And for some reason, I don't know. I think I just trust the Falcons offense more than the Bucks, and I think it just comes down to a tiebreaker. I have them both at 10-7.
The safety with picking the Falcons is you can't say like no matter what happens with Kirk or Penix, they have 2 QBs, so it's like no matter what, they should have a QB who's at least decent.
And they won 7 games with that tire fire show quarterback last year. I can't.
Yeah.
Can Kirk give him 3 extra games? I'm not sure because he is coming off an Achilles himself. I hate betting on Kirk to win divisions ever, but I'm going to do it, I guess.
Well, Penix is there, and that's why I said if Kirk tries to throw their season, I think Penix will come in and there'll be like a new refresh. If they're smart, that's how they should do it. Start Kirk so you don't look like an idiot, and then at some point you move on to Penix, trade Kirk for some money. If they're really smart, I mean, if Kirk has a good year, still trade him after the season.
Not a bad idea.
All he does is rage, your trade value. Trade him for some weapons for Penix. If he's
There's probably a couple teams they could talk into doing that for sure. I'm not sure who exactly because it is a lot of money for an aging quarterback, but I could see a couple teams coming, at least throwing an offer their way.
The Panthers don't even have enough talent to offer anybody for that trade. We'll give you Kirk. Like for who? Your draft pick would be nice.
No, they're not doing that. God, no. I mean, even we got just 2 seconds for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Okay, so that one.
That one I decided. Yeah, I think we flip flopped. You had Bucks, I had Falcons, but like I said, I've been battling this decision all offseason on who I was going to take. Anyways, I think that it's just between those 2 teams, in my opinion. I think it really comes down to just their head to head.
Yeah,
it comes out of those 2 games.
Yep, I agree.
And then we move on to the NFC Beast. And we got, it looks like lead dogs are actually, I was a little surprised by this. Eagles were 10.5. We got the Cowboys at 9.5, which actually did shock me. And then we have the Commanders and Giants each at 6.5 each.
Dude, the Cowboys winning 9 games, like, unfortunately, it wouldn't shock me.
Wow, really? You're that pessimistic on the season, man?
Dude, I am and you know this, I am a fan of when the Cowboys can run the ball. Like, if we have they can't. Like, with Murray, I was all day. I'm Murray. With Zeke, I was preaching. I was praying for Zeke before we even got him because I saw him beat my team, Oregon. And we got Zeke, and I was just ecstatic. And then Pollard gave me a little bit of hope last year because I'm like, all right, if we can get healthy Pollard, Who knows? Like maybe he can just be faster than Zeke was, and he flopped for us.
No, you're flop for my fantasy team. God, but I reached for him thinking he was about to be a workhorse for me. He was churning out like 45 yards a game. I'm like, come on, man.
Based off projections, he should have been like, but I know you want to give the guy some time, give him at least a year post injury and see if he gets back. But dude, like it's definitely straight relying on we can't run the ball. So I'm nervous because the Cowboys, we can go up 21 points. We can't run the ball. So our defense has to stay locked in, or else we could catch ourselves in a dogfight. And we know how Dallas likes to do in those. We get penalties, all types of other things that cost us. Now, I say it wouldn't shock me if we won 9 games, but I do expect 10. I expect 10 games out of us.
That's what nope, actually I have him at 11.
Maybe even 11, but like even when you look at last year, no, we don't have a running back now, but we won 11 and Pollard didn't play very good last year. And if anything, I'm pretty sure Zeke scored more touchdowns than Pollard last year. And Zeke will continue to score more touchdowns than Pollard. There's some plays in their playoff game. I'm like, Zeke scores there. So I'm upset about the running game, but I don't want to harp on it too much. I don't think Dak can play better than he just played. I don't know how he can. It's like almost impossible that he has a better year than he just had. But so with that being said,
I feel like you're leading Eagles here, but I feel like
yeah, obviously it's got to be. Philly's got to win the division because the Eagles, they're not going to BS. Like last year, what happened with them is really shocking. Now, would I be surprised if the Eagles had like a better record than us by 2 or 3 games, but we beat them twice? No, because I think that when it comes to Cowboys versus Eagles, I think we always play them well. Dak, I know, is going to play well versus Philly. Like the butterflies and the demons he may hear when we play San Fran, he doesn't have when he plays the Eagles, even when they're really good. Like he at least shows up versus Philly. So it wouldn't shock me if we beat the Eagles twice, but they just did what they were supposed to do versus other teams, and we didn't do what we were supposed to do. So I think the Eagles can win the division. Wouldn't be shocked if we beat them twice. Cowboys second.
Wow.
Commanders, then Giants.
I am shocked. I was not expecting that.
Well, for me to pick
who would have thought I have the Cowboys winning the division and you don't?
Wow.
What kind of bizarre. Wow. It conflicts everything that I was thinking, honestly, just because of that whole 20-year hex on your division. I mean, I think the issue with the Eagles is simply that their secondary is still terrible. Like they got Saquon, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, great, we got Saquon." I'm like, "Yeah, he's good and all, but like, did you get anybody to replace that secondary?" Like they were giving me like 2016 Packers vibes. Like everyone's allowing like 130 passer ratings.
What about Cooper DeJean? No, the guy from Iowa. The first, maybe the first starting.
He's the guy, but a rookie corner is usually never a good. It's usually not a good form.
Yeah, corners got.
It takes usually a couple of years for them to actually get into form.
Yeah, unless you're like Sauce.
And they had a few good like veterans walk out the door. Like Kelsey's gone. I think Fletcher's gone. I want to say Brandon Graham might be gone.
If Fletcher Cox is gone, I feel like I would have known.
I gotta look this. I know Kelsey's gone for sure. I'm looking this up right now.
Yeah, you're all good.
Because I'm actually a little curious myself.
Oh, he retired.
Yeah, I'm about to say. I thought, yeah. Like I said, guys went out the door.
Oh, but I mean, he's like
they still have components. Like I still like Jalen Hurts. I still think they have an unstoppable play. We'll see if it matters much more now that they lost Kelsey. But they still have 2 mean threats. I still have them winning 10 games. I just have the Cowboys winning 11. And I have the Commanders rebuilding. I think they'll be okay, serviceable. But I think they'll end up finishing like 7-10. And I think the Giants are going to be the worst team in football. 3-14 is what I have them currently down as, and I'm looking at my other. I think the Titans tied with them. 3-14. They're going to be fighting.
They may go 2-15.
It's on the board. I just think there's no bright spot to that team in my opinion. Like, can you think of any strength for the New York Giants?
No. It was literally
unless Malik Neighbors is a phenom and they have a good receiver.
Who's throwing him the ball? I saw Daniel Jones overthrowing screen passes the other day. Did you see that?
I saw that too. Yeah. It doesn't surprise me one bit, one iota. I'm like, oh, it's Daniel Jones. Who would have thought?
Jim Rome was like, let me get this straight. You had worries about him before the shredded knee. So now you're expecting him to get better after the shredded knee.
I think this is his last year. I think this is his prove it year, and I don't think he's going to prove it. I don't think we're going to be seeing much more Daniel outside of a backup role after this.
Yeah, he may be out the league. He can
and
run.
The Giants are going to be paying that price. I don't see them. I don't even know how they're at 6.5 for the over under. Who's betting the over on that?
Yeah,
not me.
6.5.
But yeah,
6 wins for the Giants is insane.
Yeah, I know, and they have the Cowboys at 9.5. Like what? It's a 3-game difference between you two.
Wow.
Like
everybody's like
there's the only highest over under for wins is 11.5 for two teams.
That's nuts.
It's hard to win 12 games. It's really hard to predict the team. Like you can't really put a team at 12 and a half. Like that's basically saying like 12, 13 wins is like this team's like floor.
So I would guess that the one who got 11.5 is probably the next team we're going to hit in the NFC West.
Oh, you got it, Buster. We got ourselves in the NFC West, and just as you mentioned, the Niners at 11.5, and we got the Rams at 8.5, which I hate. I would definitely take the over for that one. 7.5 for the Cards and the Hawks. What say you?
The Hawks will win. They'll go 9-8 again. The Hawks will go 9-8. The Cardinals. Cardinals will win 8 games. Cardinals will go 8-9. Seahawks will go 9-8. The Rams will win 9 games.
Oh, you got this as a close division, eh?
Yes, the Rams will win 9 games. This would be a very close division outside of the 49ers, who give me 14, dude. 14 wins for the 4.
Oh, you think they're winning 14 this year? Then it's not out of the realms of possibility.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing to throw up just off the number, but like realistically, I think they will organize. Not organized. What's a good word for this? They will convincingly and controllably win 14 games. Like solid, they beat that team wins. The 49ers will. And this has got to be the year they win the Super Bowl. This can't keep happening to them. They can't keep they look unbeatable all year and then they just look weird. And like it looks when a team gave San Fran even a little bit of trouble, it was awkward. Like for me, it felt weird. Like I'm like something's got to be going on, and it felt like it would feel like if we saw the USA team like down in the fourth quarter. That's how I used to feel. I'm like, how are the 49ers losing? Like I didn't even know it was possible for these guys to lose. Like their culture, their coach, their QB, everything about them is stable. Like they've got like a little bit of an underlying Patriots, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, Patriots like vibe aura to them, where it's like they're machine driven. It almost seems. But then of course Shanahan's not Belichick, which goes into the questionable play calling in the playoffs every year. It seems for him.
Okay, so you got Niners first. Who you say you got second again?
Second, Rams. I'll give them a tiebreaker over Seattle. Well, no. Yeah, the Rams are going to win 9 games. They're going to go 9-8, and then Seattle's going to go 8-9.
Okay, so you have the Cards finishing last.
Yes, they'll win 7 though.
We basically got this all matched up too, except we got our third and fourth places mixed around. I got the 49ers, obviously. Same thing with the Lions. I think sooner or later their bill is going to come due for them, and then they're going to have to probably break it up a little bit. But this year they're still pretty intact, and I still have quite the fear over them. But I'm going to echo exactly what your point is about Kyle Shanahan. The big stink with Kyle Shanahan is just some of his collapses that he's had over the years in the playoffs. I don't know if I'm going to butcher the stat, but I want to say that when they beat the Packers last year in the divisionals, I think it was the first time he beat a team when he was down in the fourth.
That sounds right.
I just remember that because I remember my buddy sent me that stat like during the fourth quarter. I'm like, I hate you. Why? I was like, God, it's over. I'm like, come on, miss your kick, Andrews. Come on, let's get this over with.
Man, dude.
Yeah, that's always the issue. I'm not sure if they're going to win the Super Bowl. I mean, obviously, I think always the smart money. I just think it's an overall retirement option. You should always put like just $50 on the Chiefs to win every year, but that's just me. And then just put it all into retirement once you cash out on it all.
A prize picks fun.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like just every year, you should just put like $20 on the Chiefs. Like it's $100. I think they're plus 500 if I got them down correctly.
Yeah.
I have to look. I have to look a little closer into that. I don't think I have the Super Bowl odds in, unfortunately. But I got Niners first. I got Rams at. I think I got them at 10 wins. They're very top heavy still, but I still trust all the top players on their team. Like if Matt Stafford's upright, I think they're guaranteed to win 10 games. I've got what's that?
I was like, oh, Stafford guy.
Oh yeah, when he's upright, he's got a sling. He can sling it, but the best of anybody.
Yeah, and Puka was a rookie last year. Okay, let me remember. Let me be smart here.
And I just trust Sean McVay over the other two coaches in their division. That's behind them at least. Actually, I don't know who I'd like better, McVay or Shanahan. I'd have to think of that one over. Honestly, I might be Team McVay.
Regular season,
Shanahan. Well, McVay's got a Super Bowl.
Yeah, as I said, regular season, Shanahan. All around, McVay.
Okay, at least we can come to agreement on that. And then I got, let's see, I got the Cardinals finishing third at about 8-9, and I got the Hawks 7-10. I just think they're they don't really know what they are. Yeah, 7-10.
Cardinals third.
Yeah.
You got a Harrison guy over here.
I don't know if you watched the Cardinals much last year. They were kind of frisky. Like, I don't think they're going to be amazing, but they're going to be like a 8-win team, and they're probably going to be like 3 really good teams, and each team's going to look back like, how the did we lose to the Cardinals?
Yeah, hold on. They
like someone I know.
They beat us second game, and then they helped partake in the Eagles fall off. I think.
I was in Kansas City for that. Yeah, I thought it was over, and the Cardinals came back and won the whole thing.
So I got some respect for the Cardinals for that. They did, and that was without Kyler, right?
Yeah, they obviously they still got a ways to go, but like they can be frisky. I'm giving them 8 wins. I'm giving them third place.
I like it.
And then so let's see. I got your division winners is Niners. I still can't believe this. Eagles, Bucks, and Lions. And then who's your wild? Oh no, my bad. Nope, that is actually it. Lions, Bucks, Eagles, and Niners. Who's your wild card teams then?
Cowboys. Packers. Please.
We wouldn't play each other for wild card teams. We probably wouldn't even see each other if that was the case.
Oh, that's right.
We'd probably only play each other if we somehow both made it to the NFC Championship, which would be just gnarly.
Isn't there? I thought there was a 5-4 wild card game. No,
I mean 4-5. Yeah, but the 4 is a division winner.
Gotcha.
The first 4 division winners, and there's 3 wild cards. The first seed gets a week off, and then the 3 wild card teams play the other 3 division winners.
Maybe you guys will get the division. Maybe you guys win the division.
The funny thing is, actually, on mine, I actually have us slated to play each other in the playoffs. I currently have the Cowboys as the 3 seed and the Packers as the 6.
I want you guys to be the higher seed, and I want us to be the lower seed.
You want to come up to Lambeau? Really?
Dude, I have seen enough of Dallas being favored. I've seen enough of it.
The one time I've seen us lose was at Lambeau, so maybe you're onto something.
Let's see here.
I have to go back in my record. I think I only remember losing you guys once, and I think it was that 2016 game at Lambeau.
Yeah.
So I got boys, Packers, and then who else? We can put the Bears in there, I'm guessing, since you have the Bears ahead of the Packers?
Yeah.
That's your 7?
Yeah, for a second I thought I caught myself up, but I'm like, yeah. And I will take the Bears over the Rams for that last division.
So we're going to flip them around because you have the Bears ahead of the Packers. So you have the Packers at the 7th seed. I love it. I mean, I have them at the 6th, so I mean, really we're not too far off. So let's take a look here. So you've got Lions, Bucks, Eagles, Niners, boys, Bears, Packers, and then I got Niners, Lions, Cowboys, Falcons, Rams, Packers, Bucks as my 7.
All righty.
And do you want to do Super Bowl picks, or do you want to do that a little closer to the season? I think we'll do it a little closer in the season. We make amends for our schedule. I got you in the book, so we can make amends later in the month.
Yeah, here's what I say we do. We did good, dude. We're at 50, 55. We're pushing 55 minutes, almost an hour. Here's what I say we do. I say we could either do. I say we do our. You want to do the awards today, or you want to do the awards on a special individual video like we're doing this one with the division winners, like MVP predictions, Rookie of the Year predictions. You want to toss that in now, or you want to come back and do that like soon within the next few days, and then get that one up?
If anything, we could save it for next week on the pod. I mean, not like the season's going anywhere.
Exactly. If anything,
we could, if you want to fit it in, we can, but it might take like 15, 20 minutes. I'm not sure if you had anything else going on right
now. No, other than eating dinner and going home. That's all I really have planned.
Yeah, I'll knock these out real quick. You want to start with the MVP?
Yeah,
or do you want to start you want to start kind of at the bottom of the chain and make your way up to MVP?
Let's do that.
Okay. What would I consider bottom of the chain? I don't want to throw any random shade at people. Comeback player of the year. That's probably what I was thinking too. If you want to know what the current odds are right now, we got Burrow at plus 200, sharing with A-Rod also plus 200, which is really low money, honestly, for both candidates. Plus 430, Kirk Cousins. Plus 750, your guy, Anthony Richardson. Plus 1,300, Nick Chubb. And plus 1,600 is Dan Jones. I'm just crossing that one off. I don't even know why I wrote that one on my list. That's going off the list. If he proves me wrong, I'll eat this piece of paper, but I don't think that's going to happen.
All right, you heard it there. Will on camera eat that piece of paper. Daniel Jones wins comeback player of the year.
If he wins comeback player of the year, I will eat this piece of paper.
I think he likes his odds.
I do like the odds, for sure. Who do you think is going to win comeback player of the year? I already think it's a lock, personally, but
Rodgers.
Yeah, I kind of figured you'd say that since you thought that they're going to win the division. I obviously have Joe. I just think Joe's going to go do his thing, win his 11 games, and
I think
history on that one.
I think the bar for Rodgers to win it will be lower than Burrow, because I think the Bengals without Burrow are a better. I don't know. I'll take that. I don't want to go down that route because I don't think that's a true statement.
I think the Bengals are better without Burrow than the Jets are without Rodgers. Because they actually won some games with their backup. Like the Jets were anemic. I don't even know how they won the couple games they did after Rodgers left.
And another thing is, I think that also goes into it. I think that Rodgers, I think it's easy. I think all he has to do is get to 10 wins. Get to 10 wins, throw for 3,800, and give 35 touchdowns, under 10 interceptions. He's comeback player of the year. Get at least 35 touchdowns, under 10 interceptions, 3,800 yards. He'll be comeback player of the year. But then again, those numbers would be insane if Burrow didn't have those numbers. So it's between those two.
Honestly, I think if anything, if I'm picking a dark horse, I'm picking Nick Chubb to win the comeback player of the year. If I'm really wanting value for my bet at plus 1,300, that feels like I don't know, better than. I don't think Kirk's going to win it. I think Anthony Richardson has improved enough to even be on this list. I'm surprised he is on the list. He played 4 games?
Yeah, we don't even know what he can do. How can he be comeback?
It'd be like Joel Embiid winning comeback player of the year after those first 3 years with his knee problems.
Yeah,
we're like, we didn't even see you. We barely even saw you play, man. What are you talking about?
Give me Richardson for rookie of the year before you give me Richardson.
I don't think it works like that. I think he played some.
Yeah, I know.
So he's not eligible. He's not eligible for that.
Yeah, he's not. But he's, in my mind, he's closer to that than he is comeback player of the year.
So, okay, so you got Raj, I got Burrow. I'll star this one in for you for later reference. And then we can move on to coach of the year, which looks like top dog was – there are a couple on here that really surprised me. Jim Harbaugh didn't really surprise me at plus 900. I could see him going in and winning this immediately, potentially.
Yeah.
The one that really shocked me was Matt Eberflus, the Bears head coach, is second, plus 1,000. I'm shocked by that. I kind of figured he'd be more likely to be like top guy to be fired. Because if the Bears start if the Bears start 1-3 after the last couple of years, he's getting booted. I feel like he's probably got one of the shortest leash in the NFL. Everyone's
going to be saying give Caleb time. No matter what happens, everyone will be saying give Caleb time.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying Eberflus was already on the hot seat going into this year. If they start 1-3 with the new product, I could see Bears fans getting turned against them pretty quickly. Just from my conversations with Bears fans around these parts.
So in order for me to stay consistent with what I said originally, I'd probably go. I like the Bears coach as an option, Jim. I think Jim Harbaugh. I think that's a good choice. It's a good second place choice. I think the Bears coach, dude. The Bears, if they just are even decent, it's going to be the biggest. The whole NFL is going to be taking notice. Wow, the Bears are decent, and they're going to be looking at the coach. And Caleb Williams will, who I think is going to be rookie of the year. A little foreshadow, but Caleb Williams, I mean, he could maybe take some shine from the coach, but it wouldn't shock me if they both won awards. If they have a good year, they win 10 games, it would not shock me if both those guys won awards.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna completely zag from both of your takes here. You want to know who I think's gonna win Coach of the Year this year? Take a wild guess.
Don't say McCarthy. Impossible.
No, God, no. I actually almost wanted to give you his odds just for you to know what his FanDuel odds are. I didn't pull him up. I kind of wish I did now just to see where he was at. No, actually, the real value I see in this would be Mr. LaFleur. Matt LaFleur. If anything, he's been getting disrespect on this award the last couple of years. He's not even making the ballot.
Dude, that guy would won a playoff game though.
I know he should have won. I think he should have at least been like in the final 5. And I think if we end up going like 11, 13 wins, I could see him being right at the top of that list of being Coach of the Year.
I could say he should have won last year. I'd be shocked if he won this year, unless you guys.
I don't think he should have won, but I think he should have at least been one of the finalists.
If you guys win 13 games, yes.
Yeah. I at 1,300, like $100 turns into, if I do the math right, 1,300. I'm not a complete degenerate, but
turned into 1,300. How that works?
I think if you put $1 in, you get 13. So I think if you put 100, you get 1,300. If I remember correctly. Okay. I think that's how the math works. You can check me in the chat, you fellow degenerates, if that's the case. For Rookie of the Year, I think we're both going to say Caleb here. There's really, there's obviously chances that somebody else gets it because Rookie Year kind of can go up in the air. Xavier Worthy was plus 1,600, which I only say that because did you see that video of him getting absolutely worked in practice?
I bet. I've seen it. Is he getting jammed?
I look up Xavier Worthy in practice after the pod, and dude looks. Not even get into it. Oh, maybe he grows from it, but yeah, he gets manhandled by press coverage.
I bet. He's gonna, yeah. And there's not even anybody on that team that can really work with him about how to get out of that. Maybe Kelsey. But
honestly, though, now that I'm looking at this, Jaden Daniels is kind of a dark horse. I could see randomly him actually having a pretty good year and then him winning it, but that's just a dark horse. That's a dark horse story. I'm telling you right now.
If they win 8 to 9 games, he will 100% be in that conversation.
Assuming the Bears don't win 8, 9 games also. If the Bears win 10 games, Caleb locked it in the bag.
Caleb's going to get it. And then also, I mean, people can have their arguments on popularity, yada, yada, yada. There's no way the Bears win 10 games if he's not balling. So
for sure. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. If the Bears are any resemblance of a decent team, I think he's going to win Rookie of the Year.
Yep. Agreed.
Well, so that seemed pretty unanimous for both our sides. And then we can move on to Offensive Player of the Year. I'm going to say McCaffrey just because. I don't really – you could say Tyreek Hill. I'm going to say McCaffrey.
CeeDee Lamb.
You say CD? I should have figured. CD is, I think, third on the odds at plus 1,000.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not even exactly being a fan here because I look like I can type fast. I'm going to pull this up quickly. Dude, when you look at CeeDee Lamb's stats last year and you look and you really think of what he should have had, because remember, in the early of the year, they weren't throwing him the ball and he had to go in and tell Mike, like, dude, what's going on? Like, give me the ball. It was after San Fran smoked us. And he goes in and he's like, give me the ball. What's going on here? And CeeDee Lamb, all right, just got it up. The first game, he has 4 catches on 4 targets for 77 yards. The second game versus the Jets, 11 catches, 13 targets, 143 yards, no touchdowns. It's the Jets. I was like, okay, he hit it. But that's a good defense.
That's still a good game, regardless if he doesn't score.
Yeah, it's a very good game. But then after that, right, 4 catches, 7 targets versus the Cardinals. We obviously lost that game. It was week 3. Next week versus the Patriots, we win 38-3. CD, 4 catches, 6 targets, 36 yards, 1 touchdown. Game after that.
That's kind of just how it goes for receivers, though. Just sometimes just the coverage is there and just the quarterback's looking the other way. It's a very dependent versus position.
Stick with me here. San Fran, 4 catches, 5 targets. And here's the thing. 4 catches, game before that, 4 catches, 6 targets. Like he caught 4 of his 6 passes. Throw him the ball more. 4 catches, 5 targets versus San Fran, 49 yards, no touchdown. That's when he goes into the office and has a little talk with McCarthy and is not happy. Immediately following, next week, Chargers, 7 catches, 7 targets, 117 yards. The following week versus the Rams, 12 catches, 14 targets, 158 yards. The next week's versus Philly, 11 catches, 16 targets, 191 yards. The week after that, 11 catches, 14 targets, 151 yards. And he finally cooled off versus the Panthers and the Commanders because those were blowout games. Then he goes 12 catches, 17 targets versus the Seahawks. And then the Lions, 13 catches, 17 targets, 227 yards. Then the Commanders, last game of the year, 13 catches on 13 targets, 2 touchdowns. Dude, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. 5 out of those 6 games, he didn't even hit 50 yards. And he still was at 1749. He should have had the first 2,000 receiving yard season. Tyreek should have had it. If he didn't get hurt, he would. They both. There is an extra.
Someone's going to break it sooner or later, just a matter of when.
This year it's going to get broken because there's 18 games. That's why it almost got broke last year. And Tyreek was 17 games.
17, yeah. It's going to be 18 soon, but right now 17.
Yeah. Tyreek getting hurt is why that didn't happen. But I think, dude, if we just give him the ball all year, there's no supposed running game this year. I expect him to have a big year. He's getting his money. ACD, we need to see that upgrade. I got Offensive Player of the Year, CeeDee Lamb.
It can really go either way. Really, at the end of the day, it's really just who has the best stats. I just think McCaffrey's dual factor will probably end up putting him ahead, especially since we already think the Niners win 14 games this year.
Yeah, so. That does matter a lot.
So, anyways, moving on to maybe one that we're going to actually maybe not much debate. Defensive Player of the Year. Your boy Micah's actually top of the pack at plus 500. And then surely behind him is Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Nick Bosa, Max Crosby, and Aiden Hutchinson at plus 1,600.
If you were to put this off the bet, like the first 8 games, hands down Micah. Now, he says he's putting on weight. He's going to do a better job at keeping his body durable. I strongly believe that the reason he falls off later in the year is because he's always out there trying to be Superman. And as the year goes on, like, dude, you can't be 255 running a 4.4 the whole entire season. Like, your body physically at some point, whether it's soreness, injury, at some point your body's going to wear down a little bit and you slow down and you're not able to be as quick and as flexible as you always are. And I think that's what happens to Micah. This year, he says it's not going to happen. He's going on his 4th year in the league. So maybe he will, I think it might be 5th. I think this year he's going to finally maybe be more durable. If that's the promise, then I put the money on him. But I don't know if he can maintain. He always starts the year off hot. So like the first 8 games, it's going to seem like this guy's the best defensive player of all time. And then you'll see it start to dwindle a little bit. If he can maintain that, then I got him. But I've seen in the past, Myles and TJ are more consistent throughout the season with getting their sacks. Like TJ had a 3-sack game like week 15, week 16, something like that. And I was like, I don't think I've seen Micah have a multi-sack game, even 2 sacks in a game in weeks. So I need to see him improve on that aspect. If he's off the ball a little more, then maybe that'll happen. But I'd say give me, for right now, if I had to put my money on the line, give me Myles first.
You think he's going back to back?
I think he can.
I think Myles did win last year, right? I think I wanted TJ to win because I think his stats were a little better, but Myles ultimately won.
Yeah, no, I don't think TJ. But TJ hits the 20s. TJ could.
No, TJ is like one of the few defensive players I actually think gives your team a win every year. That's part of the reason probably why the Steelers won that 10th game. So there's always like 2 games where he has like a pick 6, like a fumble in the end zone. That guy recovers for a touchdown, wins the game. It's crazy. He actually is a highly real in terms of defensive player, just like his brother.
Yeah, wasn't his 3-sack game against the Browns? I think it was against the Browns.
I'm not entirely sure. I have to go back in the game logs on that one.
Yeah, I think he won in that game.
What was I about to say? Honestly, I would actually bet the money on Micah only because Myles won it last year and TJ's won, I think, 2, if not 3. I just feel like usually they like to give it to somebody fresh, especially when it's if it's like a tiebreaker, they usually like to give it to somebody that's fresh.
If Micah's fresh, he'll win it.
However, that being said, Aiden Hutchinson at plus 1,600, you might scoff at this. I actually think he scares me. I'm not gonna lie. He's the reason why we lost to him last year because I think he had like 3 or 4 pressures and like 2 sacks and like just the first half alone on Jordan Love. He's kind of a game wrecker and he's just entering his second, third year.
Yeah, he is. He killed us and he had a good game versus us. he's only going to get better too.
I could see him making a big leap this year. And if you wanted to like get some real value on a bet for Defensive Player of the Year, I would maybe push those chips over to his corner.
It wouldn't
But
shock
I'd
me
say
if
like a
top
safer
three.
bet was always probably Micah or TJ at the end of the day.
It wouldn't shock me if Hutchinson was top 3 in Defensive Player of the Year and sacks.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. I'm gonna be scared.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be scared of my mind going to Lambeau in a few months. Watch that man line up.
Yeah, you're going to be there.
I will be there. Yes, we'll see how that ends up playing out for me.
That'd be a good
But
game.
let's try to see if we can get this done by the 80-minute mark. Brings us to the last part of this, the good old MVP award. Got Mahomes leading the pack at plus 500, Josh Allen at plus 800, Joe Burrow at plus 1,000, my guy, Mr. Love, at plus 1,400, Lamar Jackson at 1,500, and then just for gigs, Dak Prescott plus 2,000.
Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing with Dak.
Don't tell me you're going to say Dak's MVP.
No.
Okay.
I'm not going to say that, but I'll say this. Like, this sounds crazy because honestly, last year, if you take Lamar's name off his stats and take Dak's name off his stats, Dak looked like Dak should have been the MVP off just the pure quarterback numbers. So you would have thought that if he had a chance to win, last year would have been his chance. And I don't think he can play as good as he played last year. But just because he's Dak and he's a quarterback for the Cowboys, it's like if he does do good enough to win it, it's not going to go unnoticed. So it's like he has a huge opportunity to win it because he has no winning game. Everybody knows, like, dude, if Dallas is going to be good, if you guys are going to get over the hump, it's literally all on Dak and CD. So if we do get over the hump and it's because of Dak, I mean, he's got to be in contention for it. But I'm surprised McCaffrey wasn't on that list.
Yeah, it's pretty much turned into just a QB award.
Yeah,
I've seen one non-quarterback win since I've watched back in 08, and I think I've seen one guy get close since then.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, it was Watt. Watt actually was like giving Rodgers a run for his money for one of his MVPs.
Yeah, 2014, because that was
14, but yes,
that was the year Romo was up there too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember actually like kind of sweating getting down to the ballot. I was like, "Is Watt about to steal this?" But then, Aaron ended up winning it.
And you thought Romo was going to steal it? That's what.
No, God, no. If anything, DeMarco was probably going to win that year.
No, Romo was higher on the list. Wow, God, don't even get me started on that.
Yeah, let's not talk about 2014.
Yeah,
that's I'm assuming you're in cannons in your head right now.
Yeah, no.
So do I when I think of 2014. So handshake on that one.
Give me I think a safe bet's Lamar.
You think he's winning his third? You think he's getting his third?
They like giving Lamar the MVP.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Okay. I think everything he did to win last year, he's going to do again, except for the team's going to be better. I think it's almost that simple. Like, the team will be better than they were last year, and I don't see him doing anything. Like, life should get easier for him. Like, what we should see with Derrick Henry there is he should never feel like he has to do everything. Like, we should see him a better passer. We should see him more calm. We should see him taking less hits. We should see there being a better pace to the Ravens games. And a big knock on Lamar is turnovers. And when you get a good running game, we saw it happen. If a running game could have Tony Romo throwing 8 interceptions and 34 touchdowns, and he threw 3 interceptions the first half of the first game that he's back.
I do remember that, yes.
So he really threw 5 over the course of 16 games. If a running game can get Tony to have those numbers, you can definitely get the running game to help out Lamar. Now, his fumbling, I don't know. That hurts him in the MVP race. It hurts the team. He fumbles at inopportune times. But he had a great year last year. He has a running back. Most people would say getting a Derrick Henry is going to make it harder for him to win. But I think it's going to be obvious that Lamar is the leader of the team. The Ravens will be better, and I think he'll win the MVP.
I don't think Lamar's going to win it, mainly because he won it last year, and I think the stench of him kind of I don't want to say not show up versus the Chiefs, but he definitely had a lackluster performance versus the Chiefs. I think just that is going to probably dissuade people from voting for him this year. Kind of, I feel like the same motion of how Dak had the votes last year, but then he did what he did versus us last
Yeah,
year. So I think
they're-
that's gonna end up dinging against him this upcoming year. Even if he does have a solid year, he's gonna be like, well, we saw this last year.
Yeah.
But Mahomes, I just don't think he has enough weapons to put up the stats for it. I could see him winning a lot of games, but I mean, like I already told you, that thing about his Xavier Worthy, he did not look very solid from the few things I've seen from him. And Rashee Rice is fighting like 9 felony charges right now. Hope he's doing okay wherever he's at currently. I don't even know. Every time I get a Rashee Rice notification, I'm like, oh God, more? I'm like waiting to find out that he was like a part of like the O.J. Simpson murder or something. Like anything. Like, Mahomes, I don't think he's gonna win it. Love, I'm not even gonna go there. I don't think he's gonna win it this year. Honestly, Allen's the one that's looking me directly in the face and just says, "Pick me, Will, pick me." I just think him losing Stephon, he's gonna have to use his legs more, which means I think that's a recipe for 15 rushing touchdowns. Maybe even 20, honestly, because he's just a freak of nature when you get him under the 5. He's like a white Cam Newton in terms of like just being able to like bring him down.
Yeah.
I just personally think like just without Stephon Diggs, the narrative of him losing his best weapon, and I think, like I said, under my narrative I have on this list, I have him winning 11 games, winning the division, getting the 2nd seed, and like I said, I just feel like he's primed to still throw for 4,000 yards, still have about 25 passing touchdowns, and matching it with like 15, 20 rushing touchdowns, honestly. Okay. That's what I think. I just think the narrative is built for him to have a very solid season, and if he does, people are going to look at all of his, like looking at Stephon Diggs. Like I said, people are casting him aside. They think he's done. Everyone's putting their stock in the Jets and Dolphins as evidence in this conversation. That, like, you're not the only one either. I have plenty of friends that think the Bills are cooked. And I just don't think that's the case. I think they're going to roll pretty well, at least in terms of the regular season. I think Josh is taking home the MVP.
Okay, and that's a safe bet because he at least like, dude, he's tough. So like he doesn't just get hurt and come out the game. So he'll fight through injury. So he's going to be there. He's going to be durable, and the best ability is availability, they always say. And I think he's going to be there to accumulate the stats he needs to accumulate to pull that off.
I just think his lack of weapons are gonna have the offense to have him do more, and that just needs more production, more touchdowns, especially the rushing touchdown. I think his rush touchdowns are going to be through the roof.
Yeah, he's like
personally.
As far as carrying the load, he's probably bringing it on.
Yeah, like I said, it's the narrative fits to me that I think he's going to end up winning it this year. But who knows who's going to end up winning it? There's always occasionally, like every 3 years, there's always that random guy that you've never even heard of. That's going to be the MVP. So
okay. So
but
recap,
yeah.
So let's recap who you had and who I had on the awards list, just for the listeners' sake, and then this will be something that we come back to. It'll be fun to come back to this at the end of the season.
Yeah, we'll touch up on the week before, see if we want to make any amends.
Yeah, and then end of the season, like really see how it all plays out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm going to hold some of these against you for sure. Even though honestly, our divisions were pretty lined up. We think we had like honestly two major arguments, maybe 3. The biggest one was the AFC East, and then honestly, us arguing over the MVP case. But yeah, in terms of who you have voted for, you got Lamar winning MVP. You got, what was your final tally for Defensive Player of the Year? I don't think I actually ended up getting what your team was.
I'm going to pick Miles.
Miles? Okay. And then looks like you picked CD for Offensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
Both said Caleb. I did gloss over Defensive Rookie of the Year because that's usually kind of always a coin toss.
Yeah.
You really never know. It could be like a 5th round guy that ends up turning into a phenom at safety or something.
Yeah.
Coach of the Year. Did you have Eberflus? Is that what I got you marked down as?
No. Coach of the Year.
Was it Harbaugh?
There was another one. Oh, who was it? I'm going to think of it. Bears coach.
Yeah, Eberflus.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Thank God. I'm going to hold that one against you very hard. Okay. And then what else you got? You got A-Rod winning the Comeback Player of the Year.
Yep.
Me, on the other hand, I got Allen winning MVP. I got Micah winning Defensive Player of the Year, even though I really like Aiden's odds. I'm not even going to lie to you for a second. McCaffrey, Offensive Player of the Year. We both said the same thing about Caleb. I have Matt LaFleur winning Coach of the Year, and I got Burrow winning Comeback Player of the Year. And that's a wrap.
I like it. All right. So that was we went for an hour, 20 minutes. That was a pretty in-depth preview. And what's crazy is we didn't even really go through like the individual teams. It could have been longer.
Oh yeah, if we actually like broke down team to team, God, that would have had to been a multi-show.
Yeah, unfortunately, we gotta target the podcasting fans that still exist out here because everybody's got TikTok brain. And I'll keep making the little TikToks and the little cut ups just to draw people in. All you guys gotta do is click. All you gotta do is click, like, subscribe. That's all
Like
you
and subscribe.
like it, subscribe.
Yeah. Film it. Clip that.
Yeah, seriously, dude. I always forget to put it at the end. I know people are like, "Oh, that was a great video. Too bad he didn't say like and subscribe, or else I would have." Just imagine that.
I was gonna do it, but you didn't mention it, so
I didn't think you wanted me to. You didn't say it. Everyone else says it.
I didn't want to be rude.
For sure. Well, William, this was the second of many. We got the Hall of Fame game tomorrow. We're gonna probably get back together before Monday, by Monday.
I will let you know I am going out to Kansas City this weekend, so we'll see when I
Nice.
get back. I will be back Sunday afternoon though, so we could maybe plot on something.
Dude, the high school reunion might as well be in Kansas City.
No, actually, it's starting to disband. They're actually starting to leave. I'm going out there because one of them is leaving actually soon.
Where are they going? Texas?
He's going. Brown's going to Denver. Casey Group's kind of disbanding a little bit. I'm a little worried about them a little bit, but
Okay.
so I'm glad I get to go out there and enjoy some of their food for at least a couple more days
Yeah,
potentially.
He's going to Keston territory. He's got to be going out there to Keston, huh?
I guess so. Yeah. I think it's more of I think he just wanted to get out of there, and I think he got the fully remote, so he decided to move on.
Oh, nice. He got the full remote. Yeah, Brown's balling. Yeah, I see Brown, some of this stuff he's just casually doing. I'm like, hold on a second. I'm like, are you balling?
Oh, he's doing. Yeah, he ain't starving. That's for sure.
He goes, lol, I'm a grinder. Hustle.
He did not say that to you.
He said, hustle hard.
I hope he watches this. Just
He
just to
will.
let me know if he actually watched the whole thing, because I'm gonna be like, oh, you didn't watch the end? He was, oh, I did.
Already
No,
know.
sure, buddy.
Let me see if his convo is saved. Let me see. He says, oh, no, it goes way back to 2017. But no, he said something like hustle hard, some young Dolph lyric, or,
God. With the friggin' dolphin emoji. God.
Yeah, he put a dolphin emoji.
Oh, my God.
Jeez. All right, William. Well, I'm going to get this edited. Thanks for joining me again. We will get back together soon. And you have a good night, buddy.
You as well, man. Take care.
All right. Peace out.